Building a portfolio with Fidelity Basket Portfolios is kind of like making a sandwich. It's as simple as picking your stocks and ETFs, sort of like your meats and other topics, and managing it as one big, juicy investment. Now that's pretty good. Learn more at fidelity.com/baskets. Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Have you heard? Sling TV offers the news you love for less. Hey, wait. You look and sound just like me. I am you. I'm the same news programs on Sling TV for less. You mean you're me, but for less money. A lot less. I'm all the favorite news programs and more on Sling TV starting at just $40 a month. Everything great about me, but for less money? Which makes me greater, don't you think? Get the news you love and more for less. Start saving today. Visit sling.com to see your offer. Sling.
Welcome to the
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a special solo dolo bolo trolo yolo. Did I say solo episode of the AFK podcast? Today we're diving deep into the gaming world's latest sensation, Palworld. It's Pokemon with guns, and it's taken the community by storm. Oh, also we're taking a sneak peek at the all-new Ninja map in Fortnite. If you've got questions, I've got answers. It's about to get explosive, ladies and gents. Strap in. All right, so let's jump into our brand new first ever UEFN, which stands for Unreal Engine Fortnite map that we have created inside the world of Fortnite. So it took a little bit longer than expected, but we wanted to make sure that we partnered with the right map creators and the people who just are really good at bringing maps to life. So we decided to partner with Atlas, who they were one of the first ones to groups to also create the OG Fortnite inside of UEFN. Unfortunately, UEFN is just really limited with space. A lot of their original OG map had to be like cut down. They had to remove a lot of stuff out. And that was actually true for just a lot of creators inside of UEFN, which is really unfortunate. But of course, as time goes on, the limitations and what people are going to be able to do inside of Fortnite is going to increase. When they did their launch on this and introduced UEFN, like almost about, I feel like this is like 6 months ago, maybe, they laid out their roadmap, storage and how big these maps can be and how much, data these maps can contain is only going to grow. So our UEFN map it's an aim training map. It's a building map as well for people that want to do box fights. And it's also got tunneling. It's got editing. It's got everything that you need. It's basically what I wanted to do was just create something that I would use that's like the perfect warm up. For me, that is this map. They have a very I felt like there really wasn't a legitimate way to warm up your aim inside of Fortnite. Just like how there's aim labs, right? And you can go inside of Valorant and you can go into the training lab in Valorant, and that's actually really fun too. But inside of Fortnite, I really felt like there wasn't something that could really just kind of warm you up legitimately, right? Without just diving into solos. And for me, just getting stream sniped by a bunch of people and getting shit on early on in the stream sometimes if I'm just not feeling it. This morning, or yesterday morning, I guess, which is Friday when I was doing Fortnite Family Friday with my brother JB. And I'm not just trying to sell the map here. Literally, I played my first game of the day, lost, got like top 20, died in some weird way. I don't even remember. And then the map came out because it came out at 8 o'clock on the nose. And I went live a little bit earlier. Warmed up with the aim training map, played some zero build PvP with some of the viewers that joined up as well. And just kind of, got loose with it, right? Got loose. And honestly, had probably the best day of Fortnite I've had in a long time in zero build. So there's build mode PvP, there's zero build PvP, and yeah, dude, it's just been a really cool experience. So I play tested it several times, and how it's been working on it, I think it's just been great. I think that Atlas has been really, really open with feedback, and it really, it's been simple. It's been great. Honestly, when you're part of a map process like this and you can just kind of say like, hey, you want this or this, and then it's just there and it's done in a thoughtful and tasteful way. Like, it's a really cool experience. There was really no frustration in this whole thing. I mean, even playtesting right when it came out, I played the PvP in zero build, and I played, what else? I had one other instant, like, okay, I think it was just emoting. Like, when you're inside the zero build PvP, I wanted health and shield upon regen, like regenning upon elimination. And right now you only have 100 health and no shield. The invulnerability / invincibility takes too long. So you're like invincible for like five seconds. So you can't, you're just basically getting free eliminations for those 5 seconds. It's already going to be hotfixed on Monday. So like they're on it. It's been amazing working on it. And what to expect moving forward, I think, is just continuing to be creative and really think about things that for people to train in, right? Like how can you warm up and how that's going to be. Like, unfortunately, right now you can't add, and this is really annoying because the season's been out for quite some time, but in UEFN, you can't even add the new weapons this year, like this season, which is very frustrating because for those of you who don't know, inside of Fortnite right now, the weapons have completely changed. The meta's completely different. It's pretty much all based around the sniper rifle, which also just recently got a nerf, where the bullet drop is quicker and the bullet travel is slower. So that's a pretty big nerf. And all of the weapons are also, like, they also travel, right? So there's bullet travel and there's bullet speed, and they're not hit scan. And what hit scan means is if your reticle is on a player, no matter how far they are, when you shoot, it hits them if it's on their target. And then when it takes time to travel, that means that you have to account for where they're going. You have to move the reticle ahead. And then you also have to aim upward to account for bullet drop, because the bullets obviously are going to drop. They don't just go straight forever. So it's basically much more rewarding, in my opinion, to be able to, perfect that type of shooting style in a battle royale. But because that's how PUBG was, and when you got a really long, far elimination in PUBG, like that felt really good. That's how the weapons are now. Inside of Fortnite Creative, they don't exist yet, which also means I'm pretty sure that they don't have the grappler either. I'm just gonna make that assumption. They might be able to have the grappler. What to expect moving forward is, for me, is to warm players up in build mode and in zero build mode as much as possible. And what that looks like to me is like, I look at my brother, who is a very casual gamer, John Blevins, aka Bearded Blevins. He's a very casual gamer. He's not very good at shockwaving. Like he is, but he isn't. So in a sticky situation, John freaks out and he's on controller, and sometimes he'll throw a shockwave like too far in front of him, and then it knocks him the other way, and he doesn't know where to throw a shockwave and then to sprint to get like the maximum distance, right? To get the perfect amount of distance to make, certain jumps and things like that. So, but with practice, he very well could. So literally just even having like just continuing to add segments, I think is what I'm going to be interested in, right? Adding like literally a shockwave map segment where it's just really challenging jumps that perfectly need to be thrown by like a perfect shockwave and then a perfect movement after following that up in order to make a jump. And then also, just off the top of my head, even doing something like that with the grapple hook, right? Like the grapple hook is in my opinion, it is a very clunky mobility item. I think that it's interesting. There are thousands of other mobility items that they've added recently, in my opinion, that trump it. Like the gravity hammer was lit, or the shockwave hammer was very unique and fun. Yeah, just things like that. How can we warm players up as much as possible? And even now, this is amazing, dude. This is why, dude, when you can get me in a room and just have my head rolling with ideas. I've come up with these ideas in the last 5 minutes of just conversing with myself, just talking out loud. Once we do get the new items in the game, once we do get the new weapons in the game, there should be a mod bench, another training, aim training area, which we have, 6 different aim trainers that you can do. And there should be one where you can test out the weapons with like the new attachments. So there'd be an attachment bench that's free. It doesn't cost any gold, and you can just add any attachments that you want. And you can practice sniping with any scope. You can practice shooting an AR with any scope, the vertical grips, the horizontal grips, the laser accuracy with hip fire, whether you want to have a muzzler to reduce the recoil or, a suppressor on a weapon. and things like that. And yeah, to be able to just instantly test back and forth instead of going into a game and blowing all your gold on an item. That's another thing that hopefully will be added once we can get the new seasonal stuff inside of Fortnite, inside of UEFN, inside of creative. Fun. We are to the final topic on this. We are also cooking up some more maps as well. I think we're making one more, and then also I am pairing up with, I think I'll just say it. I'm pairing up with an infinite, it's basically an infinite box fight where the zone is moving. Zone Wars. It's like a Zone Wars map where the zone is constantly moving forever. And I've play tested it already. It's a blast. I've already given them some great feedback as well. It's a really cool spin on a Zone Wars, because the most annoying thing about Zone Wars is that you have to restart and start from scratch over and over and over again. And sometimes you even get into a new lobby, etc. And this does not do that. This is just, it reminds me of, and there are people that will know what I'm talking about when I say this, it reminds me of like the Tour de Walsh, where back in the day in Halo 2, Walshy would, who, if you don't know who Walshy is, was one of the best Halo 2 professional players of all time. Arguably one of the best one of the most well-known professional Halo players of all time as well. He used to do these free-for-alls back in the day in Halo 2 where there wouldn't be a time limit and there wouldn't be a kill limit. So you literally would just join if you were lucky enough to get an invite or a spot were to open, and people would just have thousands of kills because they would just be sitting there playing free-for-all all day. Very much Tour de Walsh vibes, and I absolutely love that. And that's kind of what we're aiming for. Who's pumped for Super Bowl 58? I know I am. And guess what? DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with an offer that is sure to get you fired up. New customers, you can bet on the big game and turn just $5 into a whopping $200 instantly in bonus bets. But remember, no betting advice here, just the best deals in town. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use my code NINJA. That's right, code NINJA for this exclusive offer. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code NINJA. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
I'm Dan Pashman, host of the Sporkful Food Podcast, and I'm excited to tell you about our new podcast, Deep Dish with Sola and Ham. Sola and Ham are chefs, YouTube stars, and a married couple. In each episode of Deep Dish, they deep dive into the surprising story behind a food, then see what it inspires them to cook up. The first episode starts off with 2 dead bodies and a trunk full of tamales. Listen to Deep Dish in the Sporkfuls feed, wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, ladies and germs, it's time to move on to our main event. The Palworld Takeover. The Palworld Takeover. What are my initial thoughts, expectations when I heard about Palworld? I mean, dude, this game I feel like isn't even a week old yet. It's been taking Twitch by storm. My viewers have been going up when I was playing it, which is a really good indication that the game is actually just kind of on fire. When you're playing a game that you don't normally play and your viewers are going up, which is very rare. Usually you lose half your viewers and then your viewers can go up from there. But like I whenever I switch over from Fortnite, I'll be at like 11, 12K. I'll drop to like 10 or 9. when I switch to Palworld, and then I'll slowly start going up to like 10,000, 11,000 viewers. So gaining viewers and growing in viewers as a streamer once you've switched a category is very rare to do it so quickly, which is just an indication that the game is very good and a lot of people are hungry for content for it. So my initial thoughts about it, I mean, yeah, it's a phenomenal game. My expectations when I heard about it, it was like, everyone was just describing it because people love to put video games in categories. They love to take a video game, put it in a box and be like, yeah, it's this. Yeah. Oh yeah. This game. Oh, have you played this new game? This new game is GTA meets oh my God, Jesus! GTA meets Final Fantasy. Oh, this new game coming out is Cyberpunk meets Uncharted. People love to do that, so immediately people started to describe this game to me as Pokemon with guns. Now, it is way more than that. As I played Palworld, how did I find the gameplay? Any memorable moments or challenges that stood out to me? I guess I'll just break down the game in general for those of you who don't know. So literally, it is. I don't like doing this, but I will do it for the sake of just trying to get the point across. Palworld is very much a survival Pokemon with guns meets Minecraft meets Lego Fortnite meets everything. It is a game that truly right now, when you play it, it has it all. And it's very interesting. So I'll talk about the things that I like about it. And there's actually just so many. So first of all, this game is in early alpha stages. Apparently, it has been created by a bunch of young, very young game developers who basically were teaching themselves how to even code and develop inside of UEFN very recently. And it's a company out of Japan. A lot of people are also saying, and this is alleged, I'm not sure, but a lot of people are also saying that AI was heavily used to create this game. I don't know how true that is. There are AI aspects in the game, of course, that are actually functioning really well. For example, you capture these pals. They look eerily similar to a lot of Pokemon from the Pokemon universe. And there's no two ways around that. I think they're already dealing with some sort of lawsuit for copyright infringement or because it's anyone with a brain can sit and say what it looks like, right? It is what it is. That is pretty, and then you, of course, capture them with these spheres. They're not Pokeballs; they're called spheres. And the look of it, right, is unique, and it is clean, and it is fun, and everything about it is fun. So the way that you capture pals, you get EXP bonuses after you capture 10 of a certain pal, which makes it very easy to level up if you're playing the game. It's a very quick way to level up, is to just kind of gather wood and stone, create a bunch of pal spheres, capture a bunch of pals of the same type. And certain pals have, just like Pokemon, and like a lot of other games, they have traits, which can be good traits or bad traits. You can breed them in the future to create very strong pals with desirable traits that you want. However, there are other little nuances of this game that are just so incredible. Like there's the PvE right now, which is person versus environment. So there is no PvP yet where you can do player versus player. Is very clean. Like when you're fighting these pals, they don't just have like when you're using a bow and arrow or a weapon, they don't just have normal damage when you just, you shoot them, you weaken them and you capture them. They actually there's headshot damage, there's multiplier damage. And sometimes their multipliers are in different parts of their body. Like you would just think it's always the head, but the penguin is his little belly button. And like, to me, that is so thoughtful. And it's something that I can love and respect because it's like, okay, now every pal that you ever fight in the future, bosses included, like you're always going to have to think about where's its weak spot. And I love that. And that's like the one of the little nuances of the game that really just brings it out to me that it's like, okay, this game is honestly just special. It's special. And, one of my craziest moments was capturing this King Paka, which is a world mob. It's like a world boss mob. It was level 25. I was level 19. And maybe it was level 23. And anyways, I thought I could take it out because I had like 70 crossbow bolts and a bunch of fire arrows. I ended up hitting him for he had like 2,500 HP. I was hitting him for 4 damage a shot, and all of my pals perished in my party. And I ended up somehow capturing him with a 3% chance. It was a miracle. It was a Christmas miracle, and it wasn't even Christmas. But that was hands down one of the craziest experiences that I've ever had. I ran out of arrows completely, and I was just running around looking, for objects on the ground to deal damage and capture them. And that was nuts. I don't even know if we clipped that or had any moments of that, but that was one of the end of one of our streams. It was really sick.
We're going AFK with Ninja. What's he gonna say?
I'm Dan Pashman, host of the Sporkful Food Podcast, and I'm excited to tell you about our new podcast, Deep Dish with Sola and Ham. Sola and Ham are chefs, YouTube stars, and a married couple. In each episode of Deep Dish, they deep dive into the surprising story behind a food, then see what it inspires them to cook up. The first episode starts off with 2 dead bodies and a trunk full of tamales. Listen to Deep Dish in the Sporkful's feed, wherever you get your podcasts.
In a fast-paced world, every day brings new challenges and new opportunities. At Strayer University, we know a thing or two about getting and staying ahead of change. For over 130 years, we've been providing students like you with innovative tools, customized support, and an education built to empower you, so you can find your way forward and always keep striving. Visit strayer.edu to learn more.
Let's talk about the record-breaking success, guys. Palworld has sold, I believe Palworld has sold, here on this document, it says 5 million copies in just a few days. I'm pretty sure it's already up to 8 million since this document was written up for me. 8 million copies in just a few days. Okay. Now, what attributes to this quote-unquote overnight success? I mean, you have streaming to thank for it. Truly. Streaming has the ability to make a video game spread like wildfire. Look at Among Us, for example. You're Among Us, you're Only Up, the Jump Map. You know, they're those style of games where it's just, there are just some games, and guess what? The majority of these games are honestly built by indie devs, and that's the crazy part. But they're just unique. They're unique. They catch on. They're fun as heck to stream. And you know what? They're good for the viewers. It's a great viewer experience. It's not like the viewers can play the game themselves with you, interact with it, because there are games that do that where like the chat can get involved and things like that. Don't get me wrong. Those are cool and all. There are just certain games that are just better to be spectated and can create more entertainment while being spectated than other games. Those games, for some reason, are always just home runs when it comes to indie devs, and then opposed to when it comes to these AAA companies that spend tens of millions, of hundreds of millions, of bajillions of dollars on these games that end up, flopping or just not being good. So to me, that's just one of the overnight success. Everyone was streaming it, word of mouth, affordable. I think it was like $30 on Steam compared to $60, $70. Right. And you have to just think about that. The more expensive a game is, you're not going to get as many purchases. It's just how it is, unless it's literally God's gift to this earth and everyone in the world wants to play this video game. People will try to shell out, $70 for a video game or more. So it's just a little things here and there that really just attributed to the overnight success. The game being fun, the fact that there's you can have servers with up to 30 people on it. So everyone's just playing with their friends. I mean, there's over 340,000 viewers on Palworld streams, combined on Twitch almost at a time. It's just one of those games where it's cooking, and it's still cooking, by the way. They've already released, after just all the hype, they've already released a roadmap, a very short roadmap of things that they're looking to fix, improve on, and, obviously new content, even further, dungeons and raids. And the fact that there are dungeons and raids already in the game is astonishing. It's astonishing. It really, it's an early stage, kind of like an indie dev company, not an indie dev company, but early stage. These creators were new and they were teaching themselves everything. And for this game to have this much content already, that's what's astonishing to me. So I tip my hat to them. The game, however, of course, has faced, I think I mentioned this earlier, it has faced its controversy for its similarities to Pokemon. How do I view these comparisons? And what's my take on the controversy? So the fact that you yourself can deal damage to the other pals before you capture them makes it so that that's its own different. That's 100% its own different enough compared to Pokemon. Pokemon is you send one Pokemon out on the other Pokemon, you deal damage to it, it gets weak, you throw a Pokeball. This one is like you're doing it yourself as well. So in my opinion, it's unique in its own fashion. The capturing, of a PAL or an object inside a sphere. I mean, dude, like, genies are in bottles, right? Like, do they own the fact that you can capture something with an object inside of a sphere? Like, I don't think so, right? They're not called Pokeballs, they're called spheres. So I think that's different enough. The only thing, and then everything else is like, right, the way that they work on your farm. They can like mine for you. They can chop wood for you. They can go and create things for you. Like that's completely unique, right? The fact that there's dungeons with raid bosses inside, like that's unique. The fact that there's these world bosses, the technology points, the stats, right? Like you don't choose stats every time your PAL levels, right? You choose stats when you level. Eventually you can power them up, but you need effigies that you find throughout the map to do that, right? And you have to create and craft something. In my opinion, it is 100% its own game, top to bottom, other than the very look-alike style of the physical PALs themselves. Let me explain. Okay, I don't need to explain. I mean, you just got to Google it. I'm sure you can just Google PAL Pokemon similarity. You'll notice it immediately. So that's where I feel like they're going to have their biggest issue. They're different enough to where a judge might just be like, they've changed, when you group everything that the game is together, right? When you don't just look at the physical appearances of the PALs, I 100 million % think that the game is unique enough to stand on its own and be called Palworld. 1 million %. There's not a doubt in my mind that the game and the activities in the game and the things that you do in the game are unique enough and are different enough to establish that it is its own game and it did not copy Pokemon and that it's its own unique experience. 1 million %. But if you just only are staring at the Pokemon and the PALs, yes, there are significant similarities. And I don't know if that's something that, because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a copyright lawyer when it comes to personal property and things like that. So I don't know if the judge can look at the case and be like, okay, your game is unique enough, and then be like, just change the way that some of these PALs look, like by 2%, 3% more than what you already have, and then you're good. Or if the judge will find them guilty and charge them, a certain amount of money, but then also tell them they still need to do that and that the game won't get, completely shut down. I have no idea how that's going to work. Yeah, I don't even know. We'll find out. Time will tell. Pokemon already released a statement that they know what's going on and that they're aware of it and that they are looking into it. So, we'll see. How do I see the success of Palworld influencing the gaming industry? Does it signal a new trend or direction? Ooh, interesting. I mean, I think that people and gamers love survival games. They love, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm thirsty. Oh, I need to sleep. Oh, I need to build. I need to craft. I need to go farm. I need to go collect things. I need to craft items. And I think that there are components of games that people like and enjoy, and you can use that as a springboard to develop your game in the future, or, to maybe, twist and make things your own to create a rock star game like this. There's no, it doesn't have to be like this. Again, look at Among Us, look at Only Up. I think that passionate developers can create passionate games. Yeah, I think that, this is just proof. This is proof. This is a great game. It came out of nowhere. There was no trailer. No one knew about this, right? It just popped up and it dominated. And here we are, Palworld, taking the world by storm, literally. And, I don't really see it going anywhere anytime soon. A lot of people are grinding this game and kind of already getting to max level and stuff. So, in the future, they're going to have to look at just continuing to add content. That's always the issue with games, is how much content is in it. How quickly can people burn through it? What's the replay value of a game, right? Are people willing to start on a new server? Is it worth it? I mean, I think that they should, off the top of my head, I think they need different environments quickly. They need different maps, which is, it's easier said than done. Different environments, different maps, different pals. Just, maybe even like a hardcore section where if you die once, you lose everything. I mean, things like that hardcore gamers love. And that's what, in my opinion, that's what they need to be looking into in the future. And of course, optimizing the game because, of course, it is still early access and there are a lot of glitches. The game is still functional enough to where it doesn't matter. People are still really, really enjoying it. And there you have it. Another legendary AFK solo episode. We are aging like a fine wine over here with over 500,000 downloads of the podcast. An absolute incredible landmark. Thank you everyone who listens. Thank you for everyone who downloads, follows, has told a friend about this. It really means the world to me. This is literally probably, besides, going on The Masked Singer, one of the first times I've really truly branched out and done something just completely different to what I'm used to and what I normally do as a streamer and as a gamer. So this has been a very interesting journey. It is an exciting time in gaming. Also, Palworld has certainly stirred things up. So share your thoughts with me on social media. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, stay epic, my gamers.
It's AFK with Ninja. Ninja's got a show. It's AFK with Ninja, the best podcast in the world. AFK.
I'm Dan Pashman, host of the Sporkful Food Podcast, and I'm excited to tell you about our new podcast, Deep Dish with Sola and Ham. Sola and Ham are chefs, YouTube stars, and a married couple. In each episode of Deep Dish, they deep dive into the surprising story behind a food, then see what it inspires them to cook up. The first episode starts off with 2 dead bodies and a trunk full of tamales. Listen to Deep Dish in the Sporkfuls feed, wherever you get your podcasts.
In a fast-paced world, every day brings new challenges and new opportunities. At Strayer University, we know a thing or two about getting and staying ahead of change. For over 130 years, we've been providing students like you with innovative tools, customized support, and an education built to empower you, so you can find your way forward and always keep striving. Visit strayer.edu to learn more